After being outcasted by friends and being called annoying day after day for years, I was diagnosed with ADHD. Getting medical treatment helped with the disease, but it didn't take away the damage I faced of being rejected by the people I loved most. For years, I was constantly self conscious that I was a nuisance and that people didn't truly like me. I felt like I had to pretend to be someone I was not, just so that people would like me. After 4 years of battling with confidence issues, I conquered these fears and finally stopped walking on eggshells around everyone I knew. This applies to Eric Erickson's model of the lifespan because my ADHD kind of set me back on my rate of maturity, and my growth wasn't always congruent with the growth represented in this model. I feel like it took me a lot longer to grasp the skills and understand the conflicts and events than it did for my peers to do the same. If I had to gauge most of my peers throughout grade school, middle school, and high school, I feel like most of my friends on average fit Erickson's model very well. However, I was more often than not a step behind. This step in my life also relates to William Perry's theory of ethical and intellectual development for the commitment and constructed phase, because while overcoming ADHD, I felt a lot of pressure from my peers to change who I was or pretend I was someone who I was not. I knew that I had options, but I could either hinder my personality and heed to my peers' definitions of what was socially acceptable, or I could do things my own way. By taking matters into my own hands, I knew that there would be repercussions, both good and bad, and I wanted to take responsibility for myself no matter the outcomes. Another crucial moment in my life was finding my passion for art. In high school, I never really belonged to a specific group, and I always floated around from group to group, and I was never really interested in anything I had taken in high school until I discovered the art program. I instantly fell in love, and not only was it enjoyable, it was therapeutic, and it helped me meet friends I share common interests with and helped me develop a skill which I'm still pursuing today. Even though it isn't the typical subject that people choose to make a living in, I enjoy what I do, and that is what is most important to me. This applies to William Perry's theory of ethical and intellectual development, multiplicity, and subjective knowledge because while I have a clear passion for art, I spent many years struggling with what I should actually do with my life. I badly wanted to pursue art, but I knew that my teachers, parents, and peers didn't want to hear me say that I wasn't going to pursue a business career. Growing up, I had always planned to be an architect, so telling everyone around me that I had changed my mind and wanted to be an artist was too hard. I mostly just told people what they wanted to hear. Even though there is no right answer to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? I felt like my answer was always wrong. This also relates to Eric Erickson's lifespan model because when I found my niche in a group of friends in school, it was such a relief for me, and suddenly I felt much less alone. It seems odd, but before finding my passion, I felt alone and empty in a school of over 5,000 kids. This helped me develop myself in terms of Erickson's model because I developed strong social relationships like teenagers should, and I realized the difference between isolation and intimacy. Another crucial moment in my life was acceptance to IU. While I was still going through my battle with the repercussions of my ADHD, I had really low self-esteem. Knowing that IU is a huge school for business, I was worried that applying with a major for art, a clearly non-business major, would lower my chances of acceptance. I thought my grades and scores wouldn't matter. I arrogantly thought that I would only be accepted if I was going to make the school money in some way, shape, or form. But I was very wrong. This applies to Lawrence Kohlberg's theory of pre-conventional level because when I was applying to IU, I was tempted to forget about art and just conform with the rest of my high school class and apply as a business major of some sort. Even though I ended up applying to a field I really liked, I almost felt as if I would be in trouble with my parents if they didn't think I was taking college seriously. If I had not had a conversation with them and found out that they were supportive of me regardless, I might have applied to another major to avoid conflict with them.